The night did not start with anything suspicious. There are no cameras on standby, no flashes of light, no premonition that a confession would change the way many people viewed everything. But it is precisely in that simplicity that something big slowly opens up. Taehyung's confession did not come as an explosion, but rather as an honest whisper that finally found the courage to break out of the long silence. During this time, Taehyung was known as a colorful figure, expressive on stage, warm to fans, and often calm when the world around him was turbulent. But that night, the calm turned into a room of reflection. He does not speak to attract sympathy, nor to create sensation. He spoke because he had kept too long a burden that could no longer be carried alone. The confession started from a simple sentence, almost ordinary sounding. But each word that follows carries an increasing weight. Taehyung reveals how he witnessed a change that happened slowly, almost imperceptibly, to someone he cared deeply about the smile that remains, but no longer completely reaches the eyes, about laughter that sounds the same but feels different, about those evenings after a long schedule when fatigue can no longer be hidden by professionalism. He said there is a growing fear of talking too far, fear of missteps, fear of breaking the balance that has been maintained. In a world that demands relentless rigidity, Taehyung chooses to stay silent longer than he should. And that is precisely where small regrets begin to take root. He realized that good intentions are not always enough if they are not accompanied by the courage to speak out. What happened that night was not a quarrel, nor was it an emotional confrontation. Quite the opposite, a calm, frank, pause-filled conversation. Taehyung described it as a moment when time seemed to slow down, as if the world made room for the truth to emerge without coercion. No demands, just honesty. There is no instant solution, only the recognition that there is a wound that needs attention. When the confession was finally revealed to the public, the impact was felt instantly. Many fell silent, not out of sheer surprise, but out of a sense of sincerity rarely seen. This is not a story about drama, but rather about caring that finally finds a voice. Taehyung does not position himself as a savior, nor does he designate anyone as the wrong party. He only admitted that there was a sense of emotional responsibility that he had been holding back. The army responded in an unusual way. Instead of demanding further explanation, many choose to understand. Social media is filled with reflective messages, not speculation. Many fans wrote that this recognition felt close to their own lives, about relationships, about fatigue, about the desire to look strong despite the fact that they are fragile. In Taehyung's confession, they find a mirror. Behind the scenes, the atmosphere is described as quieter than usual, not because of tension, but because of a new consciousness. Everyone understands that the evening has opened something that can no longer be ignored. The confession became a turning point, not just for Taehyung, but for everyone involved. There's an understanding that being together does not always mean walking side by side silently, but rather hearing each other when one of them starts to get tired. The entertainment industry rarely makes room for stories like this. Usually, emotions are simplified, conflicts are smoothed out, and silence is avoided. But Taehyung's confession challenges that pattern. He points out that honesty does not always have to be loud to be strong. That saying, "I'm worried," can be bolder than pretending everything is fine. Over time, the night became symbolic, not because of the details, but because of the meaning. A night when one chooses to be honest despite not knowing how the world will react. A night when care takes precedence over image. An evening that proves that in any relationship, the courage to admit feelings can be the beginning of recovery. Taehyung's confession did not promise an instant answer. It doesn't close the story with certainty, but that's exactly where the power is. It leaves room to breathe, room to understand, room to grow. And for many, that's more than enough. In the end, what happened that night was not something sensational. No big secrets are revealed, no conflicts are shown. There's only human honesty, conveyed with an open heart. And in a world that is often too noisy, such recognition feels much more jarring than any shouting. That honesty continued to resonate even after the last words were said. The night didn't end with a big decision. Quite the contrary, everything is allowed to flow slowly, giving time for long-buried feelings to find their place. Taehyung realizes that telling the truth doesn't mean everything will improve immediately, but at least there is no longer a burden to be carried alone in silence. The days after felt different, not because of the striking changes, but rather because of the new awareness that is present in each interaction. There is a softer caution, a more sincere concern, and a space deliberately left empty for each to breathe. Taehyung did not retract his words, nor did he try to add an explanation. He believes that the honesty that has been conveyed will find its own way. For many, this recognition is a reminder that even the strongest relationships require courage to be fragile. That true concern does not always come in the form of a solution, but it is often enough with courage to say, "I see you, and I care." In a world accustomed to judging from the outside, Taehyung's confession opens up a side that is rarely shown. That behind professionalism and a trained smile, there's a feeling that is as real as anyone's. Army slowly changed the way they talked about that night. No longer as a surprise event, but as a learning moment. Many wrote that this story made them more sensitive to those around them, more willing to ask questions, and more willing to listen. Its impact goes beyond the world of entertainment. It touches a human side that is often overlooked. Taehyung himself did not repeat his confession. It doesn't make it a straightforward story, but his attitude after that night spoke in its own way. Calmer, more present, and more true to its limits. It's as if he understands that telling the truth is the first step, and maintaining that honesty is a longer journey. The night finally passed, but the meaning settled down. It's a reminder that not all change comes with a rumble. Some are present in a whisper, in a small courage to tell the truth, and in the decision to no longer hide behind silence. And precisely because of its simplicity, Taehyung's confession will continue to be remembered as one of the most human moments, when silence is chosen not to close oneself, but rather to open the heart. As time went on, the echoes of that night did not fade away, but rather turned into a more mature understanding. No repetition of the story, no additional clarification is hunted. All parties seem to agree to let the silence work in its own way. In that larger space, relationships are not measured by the intensity of words, but by the consistency of presence. Taehyung chose to keep what he had opened, not by explanation, but by slow and sincere action. Around them, people began to learn to read previously missed signs. A pause before speaking, a smile that asks for time, a step back that is not a rejection, but rather a plea to be understood. The confession teaches that true concern often comes in the form of a willingness to wait, not insist. The army also found a new language in support. Softer, more conscious, and more human. Support is no longer just about cheers, but about quiet prayers and short, heartfelt messages. Many realize that loving from afar means respecting distance when it is needed. From there, mutual trust is born, that the honesty that has been revealed will not be wasted. In the end, the evening did not become the end point, but the foundation. He insists that lasting relationships are built on the courage to be honest and the willingness to keep up. And in a world that keeps moving fast, Taehyung's confession stands as a lasting reminder that sometimes one honest night can change the course of many hearts without having to change anything